What's up YouTube? Welcome back. Today it is the Lazy Days channel and we're back at it again with some more history reaction for you guys today, and we're carrying on with the highly suggested Napoleon series. Today we have got Austerlitz 1805. We're really looking forward to sort of finding out what's happening in this episode. To go over quickly what happened in the last episode, it was the Battle of Toulon. I really enjoyed it. I liked sort of seeing how Napoleon sort of showed his strategic skills, his intelligence in that sort of fight. What about yourself? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was strange to see how someone at 24 years old could actually do that.
Yeah.
And it was when they had to take the barracks, and it was so openly exposed.
Yeah.
And he was just like,
people.
No one wanted to do it. And
yeah.
at 24, he was just like, rename it of like the barracks of men without fear.
That's it.
And they jumped at it.
Yeah.
Genius.
Absolutely
genius.
Crazy. Just coming up with that crazy, like just being able to sort of inspire people, like and give them that courage to do that. Obviously the Battle of Toulon apparently was sort of a prequel to the Napoleonic Wars series. Obviously what this series by Epic History TV is doing is sort of just covering over the Napoleonic Wars itself and not Napoleon's history. So I'm really sort of
the battles he was in,
and just the war period. Like there's a period in time where it was called the Napoleonic Wars, and what happened around that period of time, I assume. I think we're going to find out about his sort of marshals later on in the series, which I'm really looking forward to. I'm really enjoying Epic History TV's content. Jack's really enjoying it as well.
Something worth watching.
These fight scenes, finding out how these battles are gone, I really like this type of content. I just enjoy sort of strategic, slow battle games like on the PC anyway. So these types of games just sort of really like play to that. So I'm loving the content. If you haven't already, please head over to his page. The link will be in his description down below. If you're liking our content, then please like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. But we're just going to jump straight into this one.
Let's do this.
An Epic History TV History March collaboration, supported by our sponsor, The Great Courses Plus. In December 1804, in the Cathedral of Notre Dame in Paris, Napoleon Bonaparte crowned himself Emperor of the French. Europe had never seen such a sudden and dramatic rise to power.
Could you imagine being a peasant and just getting named like emperor?
To military dictator,
well, not even a peasant, but just not nobility.
More than 10 years.
Do you know what I mean?
No more than 10 years.
Cleared Napoleon's path to the throne. War would dominate his 10-year reign.
I love the artistry in these videos. It's so well done.
I really agree with you there. The sort of artists who painted the scenes back then, and the sort of the pictures we got is absolutely outstanding.
It is just like a look into how it really was.
Yeah, they really captured it. They've done a really good job.
War would dominate his 10-year reign. A conflict unprecedented in history that would leave millions dead and a continent in turmoil. Eight months after Napoleon's coronation, the French Empire and its Spanish ally were at war with Britain, and Napoleon had assembled an army of 180,000 men along the Channel coast. But as long as the British Royal Navy ruled the seas, invasion was impossible.
Yeah, our good old Navy.
But nor could Britain challenge France on land. And so British Prime Minister William Pitt tried to build a European coalition against Napoleon, using diplomacy and gold. Britain would prove Napoleon's most steadfast enemy.
What, the guy on the shoulder?
It's Napoleon, mate.
Mockery of the French Emperor.
Did you not realise that was that's Napoleon?
It's propaganda, Sam. Oh, we are funny.
Guy as well, man.
We are funny.
We just don't care.
We are funny.
Britain would prove
I love how we've always had that.
Steadfast enemy.
Years back, we were still being just dicks.
Of the French Emperor. Britain and France were old rivals in Europe and overseas. But now, Pitt feared Napoleon's conquests had made France too powerful. The French Emperor had to be defeated, and Europe's balance of power restored if there was ever to be lasting peace. Pitt found willing allies in Europe, among monarchs who despised Napoleon as a product of the French Revolution and a dangerous threat to the existing order.
He was a problem.
Austria harboured the deepest grievances, having seen her influence in Germany and Italy steadily eroded by French victories. The final straw came in May 1804, when Napoleon had also crowned himself King of Italy in Milan.
That's not a good
Austria,
move.
Russia, Sweden and
big
Naples
cojones.
joined Britain
Big
in an
cojones.
alliance known as the Third
Dragging them
Coalition,
around.
and devised an
Flopping
ambitious
it
plan
about.
for a series of joint offensives against France.
Like we were in a wheelbarrow back in them days.
The main attack would be made by a combined Austro-Russian army, advancing
you
across
need a
the
wheelbarrow.
Rhine into France.
Duct tape's a good tape.
Napoleon rewarded their plans, and reacted with typical speed and decision.
Mate.
He was determined to strike first, before the Allies could join forces, and ordered his army, now renamed La Grande Armée, to march to the River Rhine. His target
what's he gonna
was
do
the
here?
Austrian army of General Mack, which had made a premature advance against Bavaria, a French ally, and was now dangerously isolated from the other Allied
Oh
armies.
dear.
Overstepping, not a good idea.
Napoleon ordered Marshal Murat, his famously flamboyant cavalry commander, to make feint attacks through the Black Forest,
Smart.
while the rest of his army, advancing at speed, enveloped Mack's army from the north.
Oh.
Oh yeah, good diversion.
That summer, Napoleon's Grande Armée was at its most formidable. Well-trained, highly motivated, its regiments at full strength. What's more, it had been newly reorganized according to the corps system, later imitated by virtually every army in the world. Each
No
corps,
way.
commanded by a marshal, was a mini-army of 15 to 30,000 soldiers,
Jesus.
with its own infantry, cavalry, artillery and supporting arms, such as reconnaissance, engineers and transport. This meant
That's really interesting. So it was 15 to 30,000 men. It each had 2 cavalry units, 2 heavy auxiliary units, and then the other like brigades. That's really interesting. That's really smart. Like
is.
I didn't realise he was the person to sort of come up with that. Like and they said that sort of implemented today. Sorry, I'm gonna rewind it just to make sure I heard that correctly. Go back 20 seconds.
imitated by
Imitated
virtually
by
every
virtually
army
every
in
army.
the world. Each corps, commanded by a marshal, was a mini-army of 15 to 30,000 soldiers, with its own infantry, cavalry,
and supporting
artillery, and supporting arms, such as reconnaissance.
Oh, I see. So these are like the main points, and then this is the support.
Engineers and transport. This meant each corps could march and
Independently.
fight for a limited time independently, allowing Napoleon to break with the old doctrine of keeping his army concentrated
The
and
tactical
advance with his
advantage.
corps widely dispersed. This helped to disguise his real objective and increased movement speed because the army
No wonder
could
why he done
advance
so
along
well.
multiple roads and live off the land, taking its supplies from scattered villages rather than relying on slow-moving supply
This is
wagons.
tickling my tism.
When the enemy's
Honestly.
main force was located, the army could quickly concentrate
well-
for battle.
And I love war games. I like
This
Warhammer
is how
and all that sort of
Napoleon's
stuff.
army
So
was
this
able to
stuff's
move
really interesting.
at a speed that often surprised and disorientated his enemies.
You'd have no idea how they've got there so quick.
Yeah. Imagine seeing that sort of that attack or that strategy for the first time. You've got your big army. Like I know you're going to be weak, but you see a few thousand people over there, so you start marching towards them, and then all of a sudden the rest of the army's around you. What? Like,
unbelievable.
Yeah, just picking off the units they need. Like, that's insane.
This is how Napoleon's army was able to move at a speed that often surprised and disorientated his enemies. Mack didn't realize the danger he was in until it was too late. Napoleon's fast-moving corps crossed the Danube behind him and surrounded
just taking
his
different
army.
routes, the quickness of that.
Mack launched a series of poorly coordinated counterattacks, but despite some desperate fighting, the Austrians couldn't break out of the trap. Mack hoped that Kutuzov's Russian army could arrive in time to save him, but the Russians were still 160 miles away. And so, at Ulm, on the 19th of October, just 6 weeks into the war, Mack surrendered his army to Napoleon. The French took nearly 60,000 Austrian prisoners, and Napoleon had struck his first devastating blow against the coalition.
And that was his first blow against the coalition. Imagine.
That's a hit that you can't come back from.
No, that's clearly like,
he's making a name for himself, and he's just done it.
And the person who's just got captured just clearly was too big-headed.
Yeah, he thought, this is going to be easy.
Absolute fucking idiot.
Russian General Mikhail Kutuzov was an experienced and wary commander.
Was he?
More cautious than Mack.
Oh, okay. Different.
His army was exhausted after its 900-mile march from Russia. But hearing of the Austrians' surrender at Ulm, and knowing he wasn't strong enough to face Napoleon alone, he immediately ordered a retreat. Napoleon pursued. The Russians fought several sharp rearguard actions, but could not save the Austrian capital, Vienna, which the French occupied on the 12th of October.
Ooh.
Kutuzov slipped away to Olmütz in today's Czech Republic, where he was joined by reinforcements, as well as Emperor Alexander of Russia and Emperor Francis of Austria in person.
Right. What happened there?
Napoleon was furious that Kutuzov had escaped. By now his army was also exhausted and far from home, with winter approaching. He needed to force a decisive battle quickly.
Yeah, how's he going to do this?
The overconfident 27-year-old Russian emperor sought the glory of battle, overriding the concerns of his veteran commander, General Kutuzov. With the Allied army closing in, Napoleon ordered his corps to rapidly concentrate on a battlefield he had carefully selected, near the town of Austerlitz. Napoleon oversaw the dispositions of his army late into the night, then grabbed a few hours' sleep beside a campfire. Dawn would mark the first anniversary of his coronation as emperor, and promised a battle that would make or break his young empire.
Yeah, interesting.
What was interesting about the hill? Why did he... the field, not hill. Why did he select that?
It's probably
field?
just because he's looked at it many a time and he just has a strategic plan.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, it is better to understand the layout and just know what you're doing there and have like, just always in any battle, just you knowing what's happening.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just
But
you
he's
having
quite
controls.
far away from home.
He is.
So I want to see if it goes over the reason why he chose it.
Yeah, it would be quite interesting. Or if you guys know and they don't let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
Dawn would mark the first anniversary of his coronation as emperor, and promised a battle that would make or break his young empire.
Let us finish this war with a thunderclap.
The morning of the 2nd of December 1805 was cold and bright with a heavy mist. two armies of near equal size
Shit.
faced each other across a 7-mile-wide battlefield. But the Allies held the high ground of the Pratzen Heights, while French Third Corps under Marshal Davout was still marching to the battlefield.
Okay.
Seeing Napoleon's thinly stretched right flank, the Allies planned a large-scale attack from the Pratzen Heights to steamroller the French right, before swinging round to envelop Napoleon's army. Little did they know, Napoleon was counting on his weak right wing luring the Allies into just such a move.
Wow.
Whereupon he would launch his own attack on the Pratzen Heights to cut the Allied army in half. His bold plan relied on his correct prediction of Allied movements, the speedy arrival of Davout's Third Corps on his right, and a perfectly timed counterattack. The battle began around 7 a.m. as Austrian troops of General Kienmayer's advance guard claimed counterattack. The battle began around 7 a.m. as Austrian troops of General Kienmayer's advance guard clashed with French troops defending the village of Telnitz. In the face of overwhelming odds, the French fought stubbornly and bravely, but gradually they were forced back. But the Allies, instead of carrying out their great enveloping attack, did nothing. The morning mist and the late arrival of orders had led to confusion and delay, and it was another hour before the first 3 Allied columns were on the move.
Oh no, that's a
Soon,
big
fierce
delay.
fighting erupted around Sokolnitz village and castle. Marshal Davout's corps, which had just force-marched 70 miles in 2 days, now arrived to strengthen the French right wing. Around 9 a.m, his lead infantry brigade appeared suddenly through the mist and retook Telnitz, before being driven back in turn by Austrian hussars. 2 more of Davout's brigades reinforced French troops at Sokolnitz.
Mate.
Jesus.
Yeah.
As the mist began to clear, Napoleon saw that, as he'd hoped, the Allied left was moving off the Pratzen Heights, and he ordered Marshal Soult's 4th Corps to begin its attack. To the alarm of Allied commanders, 2 French infantry divisions, until now hidden by the mist, were suddenly seen advancing straight towards the Allied centre.
Yeah, it's big.
General
This is so
Kutuzov
smart.
was forced to hurriedly organize a defense of the heights, using troops of 4 column. 2 hours of bloody fighting followed.
Yeah.
Musket fire was so rapid and furious that both sides were soon low on ammunition and turned to the bayonet. By 11 a.m, the French, with the advantage in training and discipline, had secured the heights and driven a deep wedge into the Allied position. To the north, a giant cavalry battle developed.
Oh, shit.
While a Russian force from General Bagration's advance guard captured the village of Bosenitz, before it was halted by cannon fire from the Santon Hill.
Yeah, oof indeed.
A decisive charge by 6 regiments of French heavy cavalry finally drove back the Allies, allowing Marshal Lannes' 5 Corps to move forward and seize Blasowitz and Krug.
He's fucking going for
mate,
it.
he's doing so well.
Grand Duke
This is such a
Constantine,
big battle.
commanding the Russian Imperial Guard, led forward this
There's
last
so much to
Allied
keep up
reserve
with. This is
in a
insane.
desperate bid to reclaim the Pratzen Heights. A battalion of the French 4th Line Regiment was charged down by Russian Guard cavalry,
Oh.
losing its Eagle standard in bloody fighting. Napoleon, who'd moved up to the heights, sent in his own Guard cavalry. In this grim melee between the elite horsemen of both armies, the French finally
Oh,
prevailed.
mate, the French are doing well.
Napoleon had broken the Allied centre.
This is his army at its strongest
Now,
point.
to close the trap on the Allied left wing, still locked in heavy fighting around Sokolnitz.
Oh.
Around 2 p.m, Napoleon ordered 4 divisions to swing south and cut off their retreat. General Buxhowden, commanding the Allied left, only now saw the danger he was in. Attacked from 3 sides, the only escape was south. Many of his troops were forced to flee across frozen ponds. French artillery opened fire, trying to smash the ice with their cannonballs. About 200 men and dozens of horses drowned in the freezing water. But not the many thousands of Napoleon's propaganda. The French Emperor had won a brilliant
He was so
victory.
smart going through
His
the
army had
ice.
taken more than 10,000 prisoners and captured 45 enemy standards. Thousands of dead and wounded of all sides littered the battlefield. Many left untended for days. The Battle of the Three Emperors, as it became
left on the
known,
battlefield
was
for
a crushing
days.
blow to the Third Coalition. As Russian forces retreated back to Russia, Francis I of Austria was forced to accept a humiliating settlement with France, agreeing to pay a 40 million franc indemnity and give up more territory in exchange for peace. But meanwhile, news had reached Napoleon of a disastrous Franco-Spanish defeat at sea off Cape Trafalgar. British Admiral Lord Nelson, at the cost of his own life, had masterminded a victory so complete that it ensured British naval dominance not just for the rest of the war, but for the next 100
go on,
years.
Go on.
Britain, master of the sea. Napoleon, unbeatable on land. The whale and the elephant, neither able to challenge the other in its own domain.
Blimey.
When William Pitt received the whale and the elephant, neither able to challenge the other in its own domain. When William Pitt received news of Napoleon's victory at Austerlitz, he's supposed to have said, "Roll up that map of Europe. It will not be wanted these 10 years. A month later, Pitt was dead. But his warning that Europe faced another 10 years of war and upheaval was to prove prophetic.
God damn.
Napoleon Bonaparte was the ultimate disruptor of European history. One man who transformed a continent.
We definitely do. We definitely do. We very much enjoyed that episode, guys. We hope you did. Today you had Tubby and you had Jack, and we're going to catch you in the next one.
In a bit.